Hello and welcome back to... Sorry, just scooching my chair a little bit. Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. I'll go borrow cups from the dining hall. You don't have enough here. I'll assist you. I can do it myself. You sure it won't be too taxing? I'll be fine. Besides, if you go, then Konomi will want to come too, and when we hear thunder while we're carrying them, and... well, it would be quite the disaster. Understood. What are you doing? Huh? You're looking under my bed. Oh, nothing. I'm a little scared of thunder, actually. I guess I covered my head and left the rest of me exposed. You didn't cover anything. Shut up. What would be under his bed? Well... The remaining girls, even Ayaka-san, looked at her in puzzlement. That's right. It's standard out in the world, but Venice's girls might not recognize it. Marika-san and Mitsuki-san checked the room before, didn't find anything. There's nothing there. Ah, I see. Oh, I get it now. You thought he might be hiding some dirty books, right? Yes. Ah. Oh, speaking of which, about that book you lent me. Yeah, Konomi, hold on to it. Huh? Ayaka-san got Konomi-chan in a headlock and quickly walked over to the corner of the room. You had some. That much might be okay, but what were you thinking lending them to Konomi? Ayaka-san turned back to me, looking incredibly apologetic, and I just shrugged in response. Eventually, we got the preparations in order and finally started the game of life. Incidentally, that is the correct way to say, the game of life. Well, as long as we're doing this, how about we make it interesting? Interesting. Sister, gambling is... Of course I'm not referring to money. We'll be betting on... let me see. As she spoke, Ayaka-san slowly looked into the face of each girl in the room. At last her eyes stopped on mine. Masaya-kun? Huh? A... Bezier with Masaya-kun? What do you think? I accept. I knew I could count on you, Rico. You're so I knew I could count on you, Rico. You're so decisive. What's wrong with Masaya-kun? You that opposed to... Okay, that's clearly flagged with the wrong person. There's no possible way that that's Masaya saying that. I'm going to assume it's her. Oh? What's wrong, Masaya-kun? You that opposed to sharing a brazier with one of us? Okay, yes, there's obviously a slight bug there. I'm not opposed to it. They're gorgeous girls. I'd be happy to kiss them any day of the week. Well, is it really okay to do this? That'd be my first kiss, I don't know. First kiss, Masaya-kun? I did not mean to say that out loud. Well, you've done it at least once before, I know. Huh? Hey, wait a minute, what? Huh? So you did have a girlfriend? I don't know what she's talking about. See? And this is why I wouldn't want to date her. She's insane. So she. My, a politician's lie if I've ever heard one. Huh. I'm not sure how else to put it though. Incidentally, I hope you guys appreciate the fact I'm actually throttling myself ever so slightly to make sure that sounds right. So I hope I hope you appreciate what I do for you. Wait a minute, you all saw it too, you know. Huh? Marika did it. In front of all of you. Oh, yes. Oh, is that all you meant by brazier? I had no idea. A real kiss, huh? Well, if it were a one-on-one competition, I might just go for that. What are you talking about, sister? It's just a joke. Was the better joke too? No, that was serious. What's the big deal? We're not children. Of course, you're free to opt out if you want to. Let's go, Wanasama. Huh? Konomi-chan stood suddenly and we looked up at her. After all, it's a She's getting too excited. It's a brazier. I could handle it, but you cannot. Are you sure? I'm positive. Think of me as your breakwater. Breakwater? To keep you from getting pregnant? What the... Didn't we force you to read some books? No one's going to end up pregnant. Onasama, let's go. Right. Konomi-chan tugged at her hand, and Ritsuki-chan hesitantly got to her feet. Haha, running away, are you? It was a bald-faced taunt, but in that moment, Konomi-chan's expression went blank. I thought you were known by the title Lame Sans Mercy. Isn't that right? I see. Suppose you are more of a mignon poupée after all. It really does suit you. What are you saying? Very well, yes, I understand. I wasn't sure what she understood, but she immediately sat back down with a decisive air. I will do it. I shall do it. It shall be done. Let us do it, Wanasama. Huh? Ritsuki-chan stared in disbelief at a 180-degree change in attitude. I'm just getting reminded of Back to the Future. The way Marty McFly turns into a complete idiot if somebody calls him a chicken. And then eventually he grows up. Because one of the best moments of the film is when Mad Dog Biff Tannen in the third film is calling him a yeller, with, so he's implying he's a coward, and he basically says, "Screw that guy, he's an asshole. I don't care what he says." Character development, always nice to see, and that's something the Back to the Future films are actually good for, because Marty grows up over the course of those films. Admittedly, the fact that Michael J. Fox was... Seriously, how old was he? Was he pushing 30 by the time they finished the last one? I might be... he might just have been pushing his mid-20s, but he was definitely a lot older than the teenager he was meant to be. Though, admittedly, that seems to be a common thing in Hollywood, when no casting director seems to have ever seen a real teenager. Well, then, I'll be all in. If that is the rule... I think I will just watch. Right. Anyone else? No one said anything, but Chio hesitantly raised a hand. You're out, Chio. I was certain you'd be in for... What are you talking about? Of course I'm in! Right. You don't have to get so mad about it. I'm not mad. I'm not mad, okay? There's something dubious about the way she said it, though. But anyway, what I wanted to ask was... which are we betting on? What do you mean? Is it the loser who does it? Like a punishment game? What are you talking about? Of course it's the winner who does it. I've never won at life even once, so... Oh, I see. Well, that's too bad, but it is a fair fight after all. Do you want to win? Well, I hate to lose. I don't like to lose at anything. Oh, I see. What a coincidence. I am the same way. I can see fireworks between them. Well, let's get started, shall we? And so they went on, seemingly unconcerned about my feelings on the matter. Though, like I said before, I wasn't exactly against it. It actually made me a little happy. I'm really curious to see who will win. Maybe it'll be me, but, well, I hope it's not. Turns, why don't we go clockwise, starting from Miss Aircoon? We all got our starting money and began the game. Okay, here I go. I spun the spinner and it felt like forever since I'd last played. The game of life! The board was divided into two large halves, the junior stage and the millionaire stage. In the junior stage you went through life from birth, getting a job. In the millionaire stage, as your name suggests, you tried to become a millionaire. Rattle. There were video game versions of The Game of Life, but the analog version had a greater charm. And the spinner rattled around and stopped on 1. You begin bilingual education right after birth, pay $1,000 fee, and move to the elementary school square. You're pretty unlucky. 1's the only bad spin you can get. Darn. What are you smirking about? Isn't it obvious? Misei-kun wants to lose. Oh, I get it. Pervert. What's the big deal? Can't I be a little excited too? So you're so excited you're drooling? Look, if I can't assert myself on this, what can I assert myself on? I'll get all high and mighty with me. It's my turn next. Take that! Rattle. Don't spin it so fast, you'll break it, sister. I thought I'd give it some oomph. Oomph. I thought it might affect the result. It landed on 1 though. Oh my. But it's important to put all you have into these things. I'm going to spin it with all that I have too. Please, you're going to break it. Are you aiming to take first place, Konomi? Of course. I go into every challenge intended to win. But as I said before, I'll be serving as your breakwater. If I take first place, then I'll be protecting you, One-sama. Give my bluntness, but I do not want to watch you sink your poison fangs into One-sama. Konomi-chan seemed receptive enough herself. She was far more protective of Ritsuki-chan. How do you feel about that, I wonder, Ritsuku? Huh? Konomi's very excited about defending you, but you want to take first place too, don't you? Well... What's that? Of course I don't. That's right, Ayaka-sama. One-sama's not that kind of person. I see. In that case, I wonder why you didn't just drop out from the start. The storm is getting stronger. I can't simply leave Konomi here and return by myself. But we're all here with her. In addition, Ritsuki-chan spoke quickly, as if to prevent Ayaka-san from speaking further. I have to stand watch and make sure that none of you do make trouble. I would never make trouble. How can you say that after proposing that bet? Well, let's set that aside for now. Who's up next? Me. Rise, spun 2. You retain popularity as a child actor. Collect $10,000, move to the elementary school square. How nice. That appears to be the best possible result before elementary school. There are only 3 squares before elementary school. We spun a 4 or high, you'd be forced to stop and nothing special would happen. It appears to be my turn. Rattle. Let me see. 3 is... You get your first job. Receive $500 as an allowance. That's an appropriately practical result for you, Ritsuko. What do you mean by that exactly? It looks like I'm up next. Hi-ya! Konomi-chan's oomph was ear-shattering. She spun the spinner so hard that it rose up on its spindle, and it actually made it spin more slowly. Oh, look! Look, look, look! I got a 10! If you get stopped for anything more than the 4. It appears to be my turn. This is my first time playing the game of life. Yes, even her voice changes completely in order to say the game of life. Baruku-san reached for the spinner while stroking Pantabel with the other hand. Pantabel? Coo! Please lend me your strength. Coo? That didn't seem likely. But Riku-san seemed rather lucky after all, and landed on the same space that Rise-san did. Now it's up to me then. Only I'm bad at the game of life, though. Rattle. 4. That sounds about right. It was straightforward for a while, until we entered the high school, and it came to our first fork in the road. Culture course or sports course. Doesn't make that much of a difference either way. There was no option for going to the national championships and becoming a pro athlete after all. I'll have the sports course, obviously. Here we go. Why? Why? Crestfallen, Konomi-chan continued onto the culture course. What's the big deal? There's no difference. I just think it's more interesting if it reflects my own future. True enough. We finished high school and graduated, and here we had another decision. The intellectual course, or the freedom course? Well, if I want this to reflect my future, I'd better get the freedom course. Ritsuki should get intellectual course, naturally. It's the spinner that decides. Well, true. But the spinner gave them both what they'd wanted, and Ayaka-san went down the freedom course, and Ritsuki-chan took the intellectual. Hey, Ritsuko. You like the game of life, right? Well, I don't dislike it. Why do you ask? Well, you know, it's all on rails. Ayaka-san traced the route with her finger. You like having everything in your life laid out like this, right? It isn't that I like it. Life is... well, it's the road that you only see after you've walked it. So what? You can only go the way that it goes. Pretty freewheeling coming from you. It isn't that, but no one knows what will happen in the future. The idea that one can live one's life on rails is a misguided assumption from the start. Ritsuko-chan traced the route, just as Ayaka-san had done. If you believe they're there, you may begin to see them, but I don't believe they really exist. I hope you're right about that. That was a weird interaction. What's with them? I was used to Ayaka-san teasing Ritsuko-chan, but right now there was a strangely serious air between them. It wasn't like their usual interactions. Konomi-chan looked at them in puzzlement. So did everyone else. We finished the junior stage and took a short break to eat our snacks. But the room grew lively, with rustling and crackling noises. I wonder what the standings are at the moment. Let's count it up. We counted up the money we had on hand. My bills were in a neat stack and I fanned them out before me. You count money fast. Yeah, they taught me that in my last job. You really know your stuff. We were neck and neck coming out to the junior stage, with no great difference between the totals. Rai-san and Ritsuko-san had the highest totals, though. I knew it. You two land on all the best squares. Perhaps karma is rewarding my virtuous nature. If this is about virtue, then why am I at the bottom? That seems like the proper order of things to me. Ugh. Ayaka-san was unusually despondent. Saya-san is in third place. Yeah, looks like. Still anybody's game, though. What happens if you land the come from behind victory? Do we give you a mirror? No, that's just the saddest thing I can imagine. It's all up to the spinner, though. It's not like I can sabotage myself. Ow. Things change once we enter the millionaire stage. We can sabotage each other. Really? Can we? It's supposed to represent the dog-eat-dog world of society. Last half's a real battle. Yes, I'm currently second from the bottom, but I fully intend to take victory. And then... Just imagining it gets you that flustered. I hate to think what will happen if you actually do win. We finished our break and started the second half. And outside the window, the storm was growing more violent. I didn't have much trouble with stormy nights as a rule, but even so, I would have felt a little lonely spending a night like this by myself. I was incredibly grateful to Ayaka-san for initiating the get-together. The millionaire stage started off with branching paths. You could choose the specialist course or the business course. And this time it wasn't the spinner that decided it. The players got to choose. Well, I guess I'll go for... specialist course. I chose without hesitation and then spun the spinner. Let's see... ooh! Pro baseball player. Awesome. Big salary. The specialist course had several profession squares that you could land in. The pro baseball player seemed like the best one you could land. Oh my! You're a step closer to victory, I see. Ah. I guess. Can't call a do-over, can we? We cannot. We must follow the rules. Yeah, I guess you're right. Good. Well, here's hoping I get the same space. Please do. There! Rattle. A 10? That's quite a bit of progress. Let's see... What? A part-timer? That's the worst monthly salary you can get. I suppose pursuing your dreams has its pitfalls as well. Victory just got a whole lot further off. Nope, too early to give up. I can sabotage other players. I feel a bit hesitant after seeing the results so far. But I'll take the specialist course too. Rattle. 6. Voice actor. You make a living at that. Looking at the explanation on the space, appears to have slightly different payment rules from other professions. Other professions receive a set amount, but the voice actor is left to the spin of the wheel. You receive the number you spin times 5,000. So you can get as little as 5,000. The world is a harsh mistress. But you could also get 50,000. Well, I hope I get that lucky. I will be taking the business course, naturally. Knew it. What's wrong with that? I want security. Security, huh? You should be a bit more serious as well, sister. Real life is not a play. There are no spectators watching you. You may take on roles, but no one is watching. They won't give you any accolades either. Well, I can't get too high and mighty, being a part-timer and all. Ritsuko-chan seemed to be speaking seriously, but Ayaka-san skillfully turned it around to make it about the game. And unlike the specialist course, there were no profession squares to choose from on the business course. You just automatically became a white-collar worker. I will follow one of Sama's example. Konomi-chan also picked the business course, and Riku-san followed suit. Oh, I didn't know you were so practical, Buriko. I'm not, but my nearest rival, Rai-san, was assigned an unreliable profession. I thought that as long as I could require a reliable salary, then... You're really after the win, aren't you? Lastly, Chio took the specialist course. Oh, I got doctor. Cool, can I get a pretty big salary? Lucky. You give me a friend discount if I get sick, right? Does the game have events like that? With our professions chosen, we proceeded down the board. And there were a lot more expenses than in the junior stage, but our salaries helped to mitigate it. And then the first big event arrived. We were getting married. We were allowed to marry other players, and I wished to marry Masaya-san. Wait a minute, you can't just call that! You can't marry other players. You get mad way too easy, Chio. I'm not mad. I'm not mad, okay? You are quite insane. Chio-san becomes a different person when Masaya-san is concerned. What are you talking about? I do not. Something about that doesn't quite add up. Well, what happens if we get to the marriage square then? Does it just say if we do or don't? You'll always get married. The spinner just determines what kind of house you'll get. If you land in a large house, it'll be factored into your assets later. After getting married, our lives continued as we dutifully grew our families. Please, I just need a 3 here. 3? Oh, I see the base is a different colour from the others. Rattle. Ah, I did it! I really got a 3! Ayaka-san happily pushed her car forward and looked at the space as it read, Revenge. Revenge? What's that? Like I told you before, you could sabotage people here too, and this is how you do it. I read the explanation. It said, take $50,000 from a player of your choice. Obviously I should take it from Riku, since she's in the lead. Oh, how terrible. Oh, I landed on revenge too. Second, look carefully. That says reward. Oh, so it does. What's it mean? Give someone 50,000 to repay a favour they did for you when you were young? Now we'll see who it is Masaya-kun wants to win. Huh? Isn't it obvious? The person who has the most money by the end wins the game. So whoever you give the money to will be that much closer to victory. And their eyes, terrifying. I guess the question is, who do I want to kiss? So yep, as I say, apparently it's pretty much a false flag choice in that if you don't stay consistent, you basically get a fairly unsubtle, oh, sorry, you fail the game for not staying faithful. Even though this is the first decision that I must put it this way. From what I've heard, those 2 previous decisions do matter on this front. Even though you've not actually done anything yet. But so yeah, I think at this point we're sticking with Ayaka. While I was still thinking, Ayaka-san looked at me in mild disgust. Indecisive as ever, Masaya-kun. Sorry. Well, anyway, I thought this might happen, so I made it some lots in advance. Pick one. Really well prepared. Well, in that case, I picked one of the lots from Ayaka-san's palm and unfolded it. There was a name written on it. Oh, it's Ayaka-san. Oh, nice windfall for a poor girl like me. I started counting out the 50,000 to hand over when Ritsuko-chan spoke up. Wait a minute. Huh? Sister, show me the rest of the lots. Huh? Why? We don't need them anymore. Just let me see. Yeah, I figured she'd done that. Ayaka-san handed them over reluctantly, and Ritsuki-chan quickly reviewed them. I thought so. What's wrong? She laid the lots down on the board, and they all read Ayaka. Haha, you got me. I'm usually quite lazy, but you certainly go all out for things like this. I can put in the effort when I want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I was going to suggest if there was actually just 5 of them, then you could have just used the spinner. You know, 1 to 2 for her, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. No, but hang on. 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10, and unfortunately we don't have a thing that does 12. This is why you need a decent 12-sided dice. Pity's sake. I will decide it with rock, paper, scissors then, with sister sitting out. Hey now, why are you leaving me out? You know why? Because you tried to cheat. In the end, Ritsuki-chan won, and I gave her the 50,000. We were reaching the end of our lives when suddenly the universe exploded. Yeah! Huh? What happened? It looks like a power outage. Yes, it does. I'd heard the sound of someone standing up and caught sight of Chio's silhouette in front of the window. Wow, it's amazing. I was so into the game I didn't notice. It's really coming down out there. Perhaps the wind blew down the power lines. Could be. Oh, I don't like this. I'm scared of lightning, but I'm scared of the dark too. That's right, she'd been afraid when we'd had that power outage in the bath too. Well, we can't read the board like this. I suppose we'll have to stop the game. What are you talking about? Not after that. They'll get the power back on, I know it. But the power didn't come back on. And the room was pitch black. We could hear the sound of rain outside and the sound of our breathing too. And as my eyes adjusted to the dark, I was able to vaguely make out the faces of the other girls. But there was no way we could continue the game. This is no good. I guess we'll just have to cut it short after all. Shall we award the brazier to the person currently in first place? There's no way we can count it out now. It's such a close match, we'd really have to count it. She was right. Ayaka-san had had a low salary, but she'd managed a lucky streak and prospered more than she had on the junior stage. Which meant we'd have to do a proper count to figure out who placed where. Don't you have any candles? Oh, that's right, there might be some in the kitchen drawer. Wait a minute. Candles, huh? I wasn't really fond of the idea. I didn't want to end the game here, but a big part of me was hoping that she wouldn't find the candles. Unfortunately, I heard her cheery voice a moment later. Found them! Found them! Now we could at least count the money, right? The room became a little brighter, and I could see the girls' shadows being cast up against the walls. Oh, I don't like this. The room that had previously been so lively now took on an ominous... There we go. Quick vocal... Well, it's not really a warm-up, but you know. The room that had previously been so lively now took on an ominous cast, and it was like a gathering of ghosts. Obviously I didn't find it as creepy or anything, it's just... What is it exactly? I just felt unsettled, like someone who's tracing a feather along my bones. The way the flickering flame caused shadows to dance on their faces was... Well, it was deeply unsettling to me. I wasn't sure when, but at some point in my life I'd acquired a terrible fear of fire. I didn't have any problems with the flames on the gas stove though, it was just this flickering flame that frightened me. Something in particular triggered it. I couldn't remember feeling this way when I was little. The candles actually scared me a little. As I watched the flame, I felt my body start to tremble. Well, yeah, we've established that somehow there was some sort of fight, there was some sort of fire. Because, let's face it, we all know that something happened between those two when they were younger. Still, that to me seems like a pretty decent point to end this part. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.